The Total-MLS Roundtable has returned. February 23rd, 2015. No CBA in sight. We wait. I keep thinking I'm going to open Twitter and see breaking. CBA agreed to. Teams will start on March 6th or whatever. But nothing yet. So we're back with our esteemed panel. I call them esteemed.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
they're esteemed. Philip has a Dallas Burn jersey signed by Jason Christ, which is pretty esteemed.
From the collection.
From
About
the
as
select-
esteemed as it gets.
Pretty esteemed. I mean, first you're going Dallas Burn, old school. Jason Christ, old school,
And new school.
and new school. New
school.
new school with New York. But well done. Way to represent. The rest of us just with our t-shirts. You know, Mark,
I got a gray T-shirt on.
great.
Yeah, I've got a jersey on under my Seattle.
Is that the one that says "Come on, Seattle"?
No, that
Oh,
one's
okay.
not official, though.
We're still waiting for the release of "Come on, Seattle."
I don't get why you guys are laughing.
You know, it's just a funny slogan.
It's just a chant, that's all, right?
Yes, it's a chant for like 2 or 3 in the morning. I think it's not really
Wow.
family oriented. This is a family show. Let's keep it clean. So anyway, enough about jerseys and what's on them.
That was an interesting veer to start off the show.
That was. See, this is why I'm such a terrible host. I make the greatest segues, and here we are now talking about the CBA again.
Better than Neil Patrick Harris, that's for sure.
Well, Neil Patrick makes a lot more money than me, so he does have that going for him. And he was Doogie Howser, so anyway, we've got 11 days till the MLS season's supposed to start, and still nothing. There were some articles came out today from ESPN FC talking about one had Dan Kennedy quoted talking about basically the same line that the players have been saying for a few weeks now. They don't get free agency, they're going to strike, they're prepared to strike. Same thing. Dan Kennedy's on the executive, I can't remember his exact title, but he's high up in the players union.
Mm-hmm.
He's a spokesperson for sure, but he's not too confident, it seems. And then there are sources in the article, which I'm pulling up. Yeah, Kennedy said, I don't think we can be bought on free agency because there's been talk about maybe leveraging other things to kind of get the player's mind off of that, but it doesn't seem like they're going to budge on this. So, if there's no budging, first off, do you guys think they budge? What will be after
The players on free agency.
Yeah.
I mean, MLS would have to throw them something really, really big for them to budge on free agency. I mean, get rid of the salary cap or basically come close to it, raise the salary cap something tremendous, as well as raise the minimum and stuff. But I don't think they budge on free agency. I think they've gone too far to just budge. I think that would screw them in the long term for the next CBA if it doesn't get done this time, to show that they budged this time the next time.
The MLS source says that the league intends to offer the union significant increases in both the salary cap and minimum salaries. It would have to be pretty significant, I would think.
Yeah.
And the league is apparently, as according to this league source that talked to ESPN FC, the owners remain staunchly opposed to any kind of internal free agency. In addition to controlling costs, and this will make Tyler happy, there is a desire on the part of MLS to protect the single entity system upon which it is based. Tyler, your thoughts?
Yeah, that's stupid.
They they're pretty much dug in on that, it seems.
I have a hard time believing that every owner of every team believes that. I doubt that every owner would say what that sentence was. I think there's probably a few, and then they're just kind of taking that and running with it.
True, but you could say the same thing with the players as well. There's probably not 100% of the players that think that are astonishingly going to not budge on free agency.
That's true.
But both sides still have to be united in that aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, the league says that they're prepared to invest more money in the player pool. We have every year. We're prepared to do that now. This is very different than any other sports league. All of their CBAs were about cutting back compensation. Ours is about investing more.
It's true.
So in the league's eyes, they're investing money into the players' salaries and such, and that should be enough. But they're not letting go of that single entity. They're not ready to let go of that free agent or allow free agency. So.
What I think is kind of silly about that whole ideal is, well, there has to be a way to incorporate both the single entity, yet at the same time still have some sort of free agency. I think that they're being a little stubborn. I don't know. It's so hard to say when you don't know so many specifics, but.
So what you're saying is you think that the rich guys want to keep the status quo? Well, that's a shock.
They like those giant checks.
Tyler deserves a round of applause for that one.
They like those bank accounts.
That's basically what they're saying is they want to keep things the way they are. We'll give you a little bit more money to placate you in the future, but we don't want to take anything from us. I mean, why would that make sense?
The league also.
They're all going to be unified because they're all under the league umbrella. It's not like their own,
Yeah.
club. It's a franchise, so it's whatever. Of course, the upper management, the ownership groups are going to follow along with what MLS says. Of course. Why wouldn't they?
I think it's much more about the power they hold rather than the money. Yeah, the money is important. They want to get the money, but they hold a lot of power over the players, and free agents is just they're gonna lose it. That to me is more important to them.
Because it's just a silly concept to dislike the idea of taking away your ability to move players around in this kind of I hate to use this in correlation to government, but socialistic business model. It's just it's stubborn, like I said.
Yeah, I mean, but like Tyler said, when you're talking about people's pocketbooks and their bank accounts, they're not hey, I'd like to lose 20% of my revenue for the next 5 years. They're not going to really go for that.
Well, isn't that what they keep referencing? Is that this will somehow inflate cost? It always goes back to cost. And how it's going to make prices go through the roof. And come on.
Yeah, and I mentioned that last week, and it was a Steve Jobs article, and he referenced that it would increase salaries, and I don't even really understand how it would do that, to be honest. Like I said last week.
Yeah, and then the league, and like we've said for a while, that it seems like the players are, the fans are on the player side strongly. The league hasn't. That's a lot because the league hasn't said anything, and apparently they're not going to say anything. But this league source that's talking to ESPN FC said one thing we will not do is make an agreement that we think impairs our ability to grow the league just to avoid a work stoppage. That we will not do. We've got too much into this now, 20 years, to just give up on something we believe very strongly in. So that's the company line, at least. They've built, but then the players will tell you how they've built this league, and they deserve,
Well, the thing with MLS is they believe they are the NFL, NBA, and they believe they're the Big Four. They aren't, because the Big Four, the main benefit of them is if there's no NFL, there's nothing else to watch. If there's no MLS, we're watching Europe. So
even NASL.
So, even NASL, USL, So MLS has no leverage in terms of the fans. Whatever fans they have, the diehards are going to stay no matter what. But if this work stoppage goes longer than a couple weeks, a month, I would say you would have pretty much kicked MLS back about 10 years in terms of popularity.
I think a month is really dangerous. A month is extremely dangerous.
I have a question about USL Pro. Do MLS teams, USL Pro teams, still play?
Yes.
So would they just pack their teams with their stars to keep their stars fit? I don't know how this goes. I mean, do players get
the agreements between MLS and USL haven't been. Those rules actually haven't been announced yet, which might come as a surprise to some, but not me. But one of those things that's, from my understanding, what's getting in the way of that is the CBA agreement. So you have to go off of the old USL Pro roster rules, which is basically just you have to have a signed contract with USL Pro, your USL Pro team, to play for them, because the loan structures and stuff haven't been organized yet. So,
this is also
so you wouldn't be able to see like Quinn Dempsey go down and
play for Sounders too.
Yeah, I want to focus on why the reason that the players are actually creating the work stoppage in the first place. They're not going to play just to play. They cannot, allow MLS to just pull the strings at all times. They want to.
And they're officially USL now. They dropped the Pro.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Whoops. Okay.
Forgot about that.
Rebranding. Yeah.
Yeah, and our friend Kevin makes a good point. Garber is and the owner. Well, I don't know if the owners, but Garber is so afraid of the original happening. What happened to the original NASL, and he's referenced that on a number of occasions. I think it's like the thing that keeps him up at night.
I mean, that's a valid concern, though.
It's a valid concern. Some people will tell you, well, they've grown past that stage and they should be able to, take a step up. But
as long as you have a salary cap in place and you don't, just make an arbitrary number, they're going to keep in line, regardless if they're free agency or not. If you have the salary cap number in place and you base it off of an actual figure, then you shouldn't theoretically have any worries.
Yeah, but then I think what happens is, and someone just tweeted in, they're worried about the parity too, with the, and then all of a sudden the New York teams in LA and Seattle are signing everyone, and then people, Columbus and these other markets are just kind of hanging around. I mean, it's one thing to be Burnley in the Premier League. They have like 100 years of history, but I don't know if fans are going to necessarily be down with, a 20-year-old franchise doing that.
But wouldn't that also be a good thing, because it's going to cause some of these other teams to create something to entice players to come? Like, for instance, Sporting Kansas City. Kansas City is not a destination that big name players would go to for the city. So you build the stadium, you upgrade the training facilities. You have to offer something.
Well, yeah, then that's kind of like the Premier League. For the last maybe 10 years, it's been the Big Four. But then you see a team like Southampton. They've built this youth academy, and now all of a sudden they put some pieces together and they're in the top four. You would see teams,
Yeah, we're not talking about an open market. I mean, it's not like we're going to let all loose and people can just buy freely. I mean, a little semblance of free agency is not going to create this crazy dynamic of Seattle and LA buying up all these great players and everybody else is screwed. I mean,
You're not
exactly.
gonna go to LA to sit the bench. Yeah.
Exactly. There's a very wide gap between pure free agency and what we have now.
Yeah. Only 11 guys can play too. You're not just gonna sign 30 guys that are stars to sit the bench. Yeah. But I don't know if the league, if the league sees that, they just hear the word free agency and they freak out.
Well, some of this is also posturing too. At least I hope that's the case. I don't know what they really think about, but what they say in public could be something else, and that goes for both the players' union and MLS.
Yeah, I just wish we knew, the practical application of what the players' union is looking for as far as free agency. I mean, are they looking for after 3 years you can move freely, or is there a cap in age? Is that that kind of stuff? Time served, something like that. If we knew, we could at least have some form of conjecture to come up with something, but we don't. So it's all just guesswork. It's
sure.
Which is like regular MLS.
Yeah.
Right. So Johnny tweets in here. How far does it set the players and the union back if they give in on free agency?
I think pretty far. Like I said earlier, I think if they give in now in this free agency, I think they'll lose a leg to stand on the next negotiations for the CBA. I really do. I think they've gone past the breaking point of being able, or the turning point of being able to say, oh, okay, just concede free agency this time around to play. I'm sure there's some players who don't really care about it because they're making $35K a year or $40K a year, whatever the minimum is, and they can't afford to not. But I think if it comes down to the next CBA, depends on how long this deal is. If it lasts this whole TV deal, because that's a big thing too. If this next CBA lasts the whole TV deal, we'll be going to the same thing again. Because what happens if the next TV deal is $200 million? And the players come out and they say, well, look, now you doubled your television, how much you're getting from TV rights, where's our share? And they might still be able to play this same old song and dance.
I think it'd be a good idea to look at it from the perception of a common or casual fan in America. If, the average person isn't necessarily going to be looking at like this CBA agreement. They're gonna pull up their local team schedule. They're gonna pick the 2 or 3 games that they want to go to, and then they're gonna realize, wait, there's a work stoppage. What's the deal with that? And then they're gonna see that the players made such a big deal about free agency, and then the players gave up on that. What gives? Are they not good enough? And then it's just like that rabbit trail there. So
the other thing is, how long can they hold out if a strike does indeed happen? Ted Filipakos tweeted today that their budget is $5.5 to $6 million. I have no idea what that does for them, but it's something to think about.
Yeah, somebody had some figures floating around Twitter earlier about the union's war chest, quote unquote. And how much they could, how much they could kind of, I guess, risk sitting out, and they don't have much.
I guess their quote-unquote budget, yeah.
Yeah, according to this thing, they have what net assets. About by the end of the last reporting period, they had about $4.5 million in net assets. So, yeah, they're probably not getting too far on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so, but at the same time, I've no idea how long that could last.
Well, theoretically, if you listen to Garber, the league's broke, so...
Yeah,
well,
every time.
Yeah, they're losing fistfuls of money every week. Yeah. Although...
But I think getting back to the CBA, there's an issue. Well, if I'm not mistaken, the last time in 2010, didn't the players give up on a lot at that time to get a deal done?
Yeah. I think that's kind of why
They caved a bit. I can't
Yeah, and,
recall specifics.
yeah.
But yeah.
So in between that time, you have an outrageously higher TV deal. You got franchises coming in left and right, paying outrageous amounts of money. So the money's here. Now, with this CBA, say it goes 4 years. There's still 4 years left in this TV deal. So you may add another couple teams. What exactly changed between this CBA and what the next one's going to be? So if you give up now, Leaf's just going to say, well, we haven't really gotten much more, so this is a fair value.
Yeah, well, last time they tried to get FIFA involved. If you remember, they were claiming that the union was claiming that MLS didn't go by the international regulations or whatever, and they tried to get FIFA involved, but then FIFA said they don't deal with labor disputes, and FIFA's got other problems on their hands. But yeah, last time I think they did give in on quite a bit, because I think they didn't have. I think they went back to like camp and training and stuff.
They played without a CBA.
Yeah, they played without it for a little while, and the union just said, just go back and we'll finish it or whatever. So
and now when the TV deal is like what, $50 million for the whole thing?
Yeah,
even less. It's like $30 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're talking 800 for.
Right. Yeah. Shoot, they're charging us what, $75 a piece for MLS Live?
Oh yeah, I know, it's ridiculous.
Just watch it on some grainy iPad. But yeah, the one more thing I wanted to point out from the little ESPN FC article, the league source said there's been no talk of using replacement players. I mean, if they needed us, I'd be ready to go in, but that's a terrible idea to begin with. People, the majority, like Mark was saying, your common soccer or common sports fans have no clue who 90% of MLS guys are. If you put,
and people make fun of the current playing pool we have now.
Yeah,
that would be dire. That'd be
yeah, because you're not going to get NASL guys, you're not going to get USL guys, so you're looking at like PDL or even
indoor
rec league, MASL. You're looking at Sunday rec leagues.
Yes.
Well, I'll play.
So we're saying we have a chance.
Yeah.
I haven't played in a year and a half, but if Adrian Heath wants to put me left mid, I'll probably throw up after 5 minutes.
I have an asthma attack.
On to Champions League.
On to Champions League.
Well,
I see a Disney movie in the making.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say, I don't think common sports fans who just kind of follow MLS or don't even follow it know that it's a single entity without free agency. I think that's a big thing. I was at the Ranger game last night, and the guys in front of us were talking about the NHL stoppage from a couple years ago in 2004. And I had to chime in and be like, yeah, well, we might not have MLS, and they're giving me really weird looks. Like, what's that? I'm like, soccer, the Red Bulls. The team in Jersey. Yeah, you're getting one at Yankee Stadium. Oh, yeah, but they might not play. It's like, why? Well, the players want free agency. They don't have free agency? It's... Yeah. So I think when people investigate that, like the common sports fan, they might feel... Like, if you look at the NHL, or, I mean, not the NHL, but like the NFL, the NBA work stoppages, or even the MLB one back in the early 90s, when players wanted, they basically wanted a lot more money when they were making millions and millions of dollars. That's only 1, 2, 3 guys on your team at most that are making that much. So maybe the common fan would fall in line with MLS, not with MLS, with the players sympathetically if they found that out.
Yeah, it might, if that's the only rule set that they don't understand, then.
Well, I mean, they don't know about a lot of stuff. Allocation money would blow their mind. I didn't want to go that far.
What was that? Kevin, I think Kevin Payne had an interview with ASN or something. I don't know if you guys saw some of his quotes, but they were pretty interesting.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
He said something about like something about Kaká making $8 million, and he basically said, "Well, if you want to make that money, go to Europe and win the Champions League, and then come back and we'll talk about it," or something.
That example is ridiculous because I mean,
Yeah, that was kind of out
but-
there.
Well, isn't Josie making 6? You don't even need to do that.
Well,
no one thinks they should make Kaká money who isn't Kaká in the league. I mean, no one's
You can
complaining
go-
about that.
you can sit the bench at Sunderland and
Maybe, yeah, Altidore is an example of anything, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's maybe a stretch for.
To be fair, Kaká won the Ballon d'Or, so
yeah,
You know,
I think he can go anywhere he wants.
I think
Exactly.
yeah, he's pretty much could probably have written his own contract.
He strung on the rebels to sign his brother.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
it's one thing to bring in David Beckham or Kaká, it's another to pay your left back 3 times as much money because another team in the league is foolish enough to pay him 2.5 times as much as he's making.
Well, then that's
Okay.
the point of like having an academy and player
Right.
development, because
Yeah.
if, like, for instance, if Leo Gonzalez for whatever reason had this like crazy season and his contract was up, and like Salt Lake or San Jose wanted to pay him twice what he's worth, that's fine. He can go do that because we'll have another player that can come through. That's
Yeah.
literally the point of.
Yeah. Yeah, here's his quote. He said, if a player in the league, he said, they asked him about Garber saying the league's losing $100 million a year. Is that stance undermined when teams go out and sign multi-million-dollar contracts for DPs? And Payne said, it's a world market, and that was established as a legal matter when Frazier MLS case, blah, blah, blah. If a player in the league is resentful of the amount of money that Kaká makes, then he should go to Europe, win a Champions League with AC Milan, and be named World Player of the Year. Then he can come back and demand that kind of money. It's not a matter of just because we both play in the same league, I should be paid the same as you. So,
Interesting.
Yeah.
the-
Yeah, getting paid $2 million less than Kaká, you know, that's
Yeah.
what.
and then he
more,
brings
it's more like getting paid, 1,000 times less than Kaká. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I wonder if there actually is somebody that thinks they should be making Kaká money who isn't even a DP.
I'm sure there are
Who's
players.
that arrogant in the league?
yes.
I bet Dom Dwyer thinks he
Probably Eddie Johnson.
wants Kaká money.
Yeah,
Dom Dwyer.
Eddie Johnson, Dom Dwyer.
Tom Dwyer's
Yeah.
making Kaká money. He just got
Yeah.
married to a star.
Yeah, if Dwyer wants Kaká money, KC is not the place.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And their
Rob
kid's
Heineman
gonna,
ain't got Kaká money to throw around.
and their kid's gonna have to be a U.S. player.
If
Because I want Kaká money. Come on, man.
if Hyman wanted to spend Kaká money, he would have gotten Kaká.
Right. Yeah. That's why. So Payne just finishes up with the vast majority of players, not only in MLS but in the world, have not accomplished what Kaká, Villa, Beckham have, and they're not going to be paid that way. So he just
But at least-
steps
but at
on
least-
that.
Or at least pay them 6 figures.
Yeah, not 50 grand.
Yeah.
So that article's on AmericanSoccerNow.com if you want to go check it out. Those guys do a good job over there. Who wrote that? I can't. Oh, John Halloran wrote it. So check that out. All right, so we're moving off of CBA. It's exhausting. Just get it done, for the love of all of us. So
Fair hands for the mediator.
we're gonna, the mediator, get it done, buddy. So we're gonna go to actual real soccer that counts. Tomorrow, there's real actual soccer that counts involving Major League Soccer teams. Montreal travels to the fortress where MLS teams go to die in Champions League. That is Mexico. Montreal goes to take on Pachuca in
Yep.
the quarterfinals. Montreal's the 4 seed. Yeah, Montreal's the 4 seed, so they get the home leg second against the 5th seed Pachuca. Does anyone give the Impact a chance? to get by Pachuca.
No, I often forget that Montreal is actually still a thing. So,
Not only are they a thing, they're in the
Thanks.
quarterfinals of the Champions League.
yeah, okay, woohoo.
The thing about Montreal is there are holes. I don't know the Oyongo situation. I mean,
He's
at
still
left
not
back,
there.
I felt like he would be a really good solution for them, and that's not happening right now for them. So, and then their midfield's looking pretty good. And I feel like McInerney can do well for them, but against Pachuca, it's a different story.
Marco De Vaio won't be offside 11 times. Offside 11 times.
Sure.
So they have that going for them. But yeah, I mean, and the thing that always comes up at this time when the MLS teams do make the quarterfinals is they're in their preseason, and they're facing these like Pachuca's in in the middle of their Clausura, which
They've played 7 games.
yeah, they're 3-1-3. Yeah, they've played 7 games, so they're right in the thick of it. Montreal's basically kicking the ball around in Florida or wherever they were. And now
they were in Mexico.
Oh, that's right. They did play Cruz Azul, and
They've been playing to get used to the altitude, which is actually really smart.
Yeah.
that is very smart. They, I mean, they have really them of any team that's in the Champions League, and I think it was the same when Toronto was in there. They really have nothing to lose. I don't think anyone expects them to advance. No one expects them to go to Mexico and get a result. So
I think one thing that will help them, and this is the only thing that reason I would give Montreal a chance to advance, is if they can survive a draw in Mexico, go up to Montreal in the beginning of March, where it's cold,
And freeze them.
freeze them out,
Play outside.
and you can get a goal in. That's how you do it.
The thing about Montreal's odds, I mean, we're not talking about them. Well, I guess if you're saying they have nothing to lose, we could talk about them making the finals. But they would have to play probably Club America in the semis. So you have two Mexican rivals.
They would play the DC winner because they're the 4 seed and DC's the 1 seed. And Club America is the 2 seed, so they're on the other side.
The way I was looking at it was that Montreal would face the quarterfinal 2 winner. So that would be Saprissa America.
They would be quarterfinal 2 if you're looking at Wikipedia, which like I am. So
Honestly, it's a really good source for CONCACAF Champions League. I'm not gonna lie.
it is.
It's so much easier than the CONCACAF Champions League website. So
That thing is abysmal.
Plus Montreal has the ever popular away goals to lean back on. So if they can nick one in Mexico, they can go home and go for.
okay, I see.
They can Mourinho it and park the bus if they and just hack people and knock people to the ground the Chelsea way.
Do we have a Montreal writer still? I thought we had somebody.
Don't make fun of Chelsea. Kevin's listening.
Oh, sorry, Kevin. Your team plays the beautiful game perfectly. I saw Tyler get into an argument with you the other day.
Perfect.
Tyler will fight them. Okay, so that's Montreal. I think the team that everyone thinks has a much better shot, they come into it as the 1 seed, which, it doesn't mean that much. It just means their group was pretty terrible. But they did finish 4-0 in their group, so they were the only team that did that. DC will go to Costa Rica on, Thursday? I think they don't play till Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
No.
Thursday,
Yeah.
8 o'clock on Fox Sports.
Fox Sports Dos, I believe.
No, they're on regular Fox Sports, it says, and Montreal's on Fox Sports too.
Ah, okay. So they will play Alajuelense.
Costa Rica.
I worked on that.
You're also on the Fox Soccer To Go app. For those
Oh yes, that everyone has and works so beautifully.
Hey, I have it.
Does it work for you?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Lucky.
I mean, I had to hack the app, but yeah, it works.
So DC go to Costa Rica. They'll play Alajuelense, who advanced out of their group with 1 win in 4 matches. So they, I would think, are a team to beat. Although they did, let's see, they're leading their league right now, the Costa Rican league. They're three wins, 1 draw, 10 points in 4 games in their spring season. I think they finished first in their winter-fall season. They lost in the playoffs. They have playoffs too. And
Do they have free agency?
listen, they don't have free agency. Yeah, DC's group was a mighty Jamaican powerhouse of Waterhouse and Taro from Panama. Alajuelense got out of Cruz Azul's group, so they did get a result against a Mexican team. But it looks like DC has flown to Costa Rica, and according to Soccer Insider, Birnbaum was on the trip. I know there were some questions about if he was going to be able to play. After I guess he got a knock when he was in the national team camp.
Mm-hmm.
I believe so.
But he's apparently back, so it looks like they're at close to full strength. If anyone's going to win the Champions League from MLS, we've said it in years past. This is Seattle's year. This is RSL's year. Last year, I think Sporting Kansas City was the trendy pick. So I guess the question is, can DC win the Champions League? They would probably have to beat 2 Mexican teams along the way, along with Alajuelense.
I think the real question is, does anyone want DC to win the Champions League? I'm kidding. No.
Hashtag MLS for DC.
I'll be able to go to the final if that's the case.
Everyone against DC. Who gives a crap?
You weren't on the MLS for RSL hashtag a few years ago?
Yeah, I remember it.
For the MLS for Toronto.
Yes, MLS for TFC. We're all behind them.
Well, I think after they beat LA, that was kind of a shock, and people thought, all right, maybe they can do it if they can beat LA with a Donovan and Beckham, who were also in preseason. But
that was horrible. Everyone in MLS should have hated Toronto that year, but somehow they all backed them instead.
Beckham was running around like he had a tanning appointment or something an hour later. He didn't care. LA didn't care. They were just going through the motions.
Yeah, he probably did. I mean, let's be honest.
That's why he's trying to go to Miami and get a natural, beautiful tan.
Makes
Go ahead,
sense.
Mike.
I live 2 hours north of Miami. I don't have a tan.
Well, that's your
That's
fault.
not fair. I think you're genetically indisposed.
So anyway, DC United, can they win the Champions League? Mike, go ahead.
They can. They have. Will they? I mean, like I said, it's a really rough road for them to have to go to Costa Rica to get a result. I mean, they've been training in Florida, but I don't really know how much. No, DC's been in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were in. Oh, okay. So they've been in Texas.
Austin.
They were in Austin.
They won
that beautiful armadillo.
Right, the Armadillo Trophy. Oh man. I don't know how much that's like Costa Rica. I've never been to Costa Rica. If anyone wants to, take me, fine. But I don't know. I mean, they're not. Alajuelense's not too far into their season. Only 4 games. So, DC isn't to worry about that much. But still, like you said, to go through 2 Mexican teams after that, it's going to be that's a tough task. Especially, man, if we had free agency, it'd be a lot better.
Well, I was just looking at the goal scoring leaders for this year's Champions League. Montreal is going to have to do without 3rd leading scorer Marco Di Vaio. So big blow. He has 4 goals in this season's Champions League. and now
Paging Jack
he's
McInerney.
now he's chilling somewhere. Also, the great Tony DeValle with 3, and Maxi Urruti with 3. That's the MLS contingent at the top of the goal scoring list, along with the likes of Uribe Peralta and a couple of guys that are. Let's see.
5-hour energy.
There you go. But yeah, I mean,
We need some sponsors, man. I'm trying.
you're working it, and I appreciate it. Does anyone else think DC could not just win this tie, but win the whole thing?
No.
No. And
Without
strong
knowing
nose.
anything about them right now, no, absolutely not. I'm
I
completely
I-
not educated guess here. I would say no. It's DC. Probably not.
I don't even think that it could be anyone. I think if there is any sort of work stoppage, the next round of the Champions League is the 17th. So if the strike lasts more than 2 weeks, what's going to happen? Are the players just aren't going to play and just forfeit the games?
Well,
I guess they would have to.
Yeah.
I think
so
they only
that
had an
could take
agreement.
them out.
They had an agreement to play the quarterfinals, but I don't think anything past that.
Yeah. Because the quarterfinals were before the season started, so that would make sense. But yeah, if 2 weeks in, what happens there if there's still a work stoppage?
Yeah, that's kind of the elephant in the room.
Now I think if the players could use that, they could use that as an advantage because I think it's a bigger deal for MLS that they play in Champions League than the players do.
Yeah, if 1 or even 2 of MLS teams are in the semifinals of the Champions League,
And the winner goes to the final.
and the winner goes to the final, they're playing each other,
Yeah.
and the league has to pull out because this work stoppage.
Well, that'll be a sight. Oh man.
That
I want to see. I actually want to see it happen.
Would that be better or worse than the Lampard situation?
Better.
Wow.
If they actually
If we pulled out of the Champions League,
if they
If they pull out? Oh no.
For
No,
for soccer people like us, pulling out of the Champions League final would be exponentially worse. People are gonna say would say Lampard because it's
God.
being in the Champions League final, because if DC and Montreal win this week and next week, they're guaranteed. MLS is guaranteed a spot in the final because they would play each other.
Worst thing in MLS history, easily.
And except for those 2 teams, the other players from the other teams, they don't care about Champions League.
Right.
That so almost 80-85% of the players union could care less.
You're gonna get some hot sports takes from the British English media. American soccer pulls out of Champions League final.
I don't even think they know what the CCL is.
No. Yeah, they probably don't know that at all.
No, I meant better as in if MLS had to pull out of negotiating and give the players union what they want. That's what I meant better. Not pulling out of Champions League. That would be a debacle that would send us back to 1995. I think.
Saw someone wrote an article a couple weeks ago talking about how MLS should have a berth in the UEFA Champions League, which is one of the most ridiculous articles I've ever read.
It's called the Club World Cup. That's you win your regional tournament and you get there. You don't go to Europe.
I read a story.
Because Los Angeles to Olympiacos would be a nice tie in a week's time.
I read a story years ago when NASL was forming, the Cosmos were coming back, that they said sources said that the Cosmos may be in the UEFA Champions League.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that article. I left that one off because they weren't even a team yet. They were
even a team, and
they were just a retro brand at that point.
That's how it works, right?
And they weren't even the top. In the top. I don't even know why I'm.
Well, obviously the UEFA Champions League is ridiculous, but it does bring up another kind of discussion about the U.S. Open Cup and the reason DC's in this tournament right now. They won the Open Cup when they had 3 wins all season. I think. So I mean, it's if a team like the Cosmos or a USL team for that matter went on a run, hey, they got a shot at Real Madrid in the Club World Cup.
Didn't Montreal do it when they were a second division team? They beat like Toronto.
Well, you have to win. You have to win like 2 games to qualify for.
Yeah. So I mean, if we're talking about the U.S. Open, we can talk about the Canway Championship and how little they really have to do. It's 4 teams, right? It's Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal from MLS, and Edmonton.
I think there's 5 now. Ottawa's in it now.
Oh, okay. So they try with the Oilers and the Senators.
Ottawa plays Edmonton in the first round, and then the winner plays, I guess it would be Vancouver or Toronto.
And I believe it's a home and home. So
yeah. So there's 5 teams. Number 4 and 5 play each other, and then the winner plays the 1 seed, and then 2 plays 3. But this year Montreal automatically gets in because they had to shift something with the schedule, so they had to go on. Or no, Vancouver automatically gets in next year because they had to go on MLS regular season standings because the Canadian Championship was going to be after the start of something. I can't remember if it's the Champions League that their schedule got switched. I
think they did so the berth is closer to the actual Champions League season.
Yeah.
Which is maybe what the U.S. Open Cup should do, but that's
it's crazy how teams don't even take the Open Cup seriously. Like, I mean, me being in Houston, the Dynamo under Kinnear, the Dynamo never tried, like ever. We lost to San Antonio every season, or El Paso, or
LA loses to Carolina every year.
Yeah, that's great. Oh man. Well, I was gonna say, I mean, but look, so DC took it seriously, right? I mean, they put out their quote unquote best lineup. I mean, it was crap for the regular season, but they went on. They beat RSL's best team in Salt Lake. I mean, how many times did they lose at home that year? So I hate that I can't take it away from DC, but I can't. They took the tournament seriously. I mean, it's you hear it all the time. Everyone say it's the easiest way to get a CONCACAF Champions League berth. It's 5 wins for an MLS team, or 4, whatever it is. So it's just 5 wins.
Yeah. I think, I mean, it just doesn't make sense how so many teams just don't try, especially because the early rounds they're gonna pair you with a regional team like lower than you. Like Houston will always get San Antonio or Austin or whoever wins from that. So it's not like you have to pack up and send the first team cross country midweek to play a game. You're taking a 1-hour flight. Philadelphia goes to Harrisburg, which is right down the street.
They can't play.
So. They can't play now.
The Rebels play the same the last few years.
Yeah, they get New York. Philly gets you usually get Richmond.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean it's crazy. That's some Open Cup talk. But there's now 17 teams that are in from the US now?
Yeah.
From MLS, I mean.
Yeah.
And I know they announced it, but is there I can't remember. They're all going in the same round, or?
Yeah, I think in June, like mid-June. The round before, which I think is round 3.
3, I think.
Is the end of May, like right before Memorial Day and stuff like that. And then like the second week of June is going to be the 4th round where MLS teams enter. And then you have all that crazy stuff now that a lot of MLS teams have USL teams, so they have to be in the same region, but they can't play each other and whatnot. So it's gonna be fun in New York with.
The 21 USL teams join in the second round, and then the 9 NASL teams join the third round, and then the 17 MLS teams in the 4th round. And if you're listening to this and you're saying there's not 17 MLS teams, the Canadian teams don't get to play in the US Open Cup.
Well, hold on. If it probably works out. I'm just questioning that 17 teams entering in that round, that
there's 15 clubs in the round before it, so 15 advance.
Okay.
And then that makes 32.
Okay, that was
then, and then they go down from there. 16, 8, 4.
So there will be an all MLS matchup.
Yeah, there would have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably like
New York.
Hopefully not.
Seattle, Portland.
Well, Hereford will be the Red Bull, so that'll answer that.
Yeah, the Cosmos will have run through all the New York teams at that point.
Yeah, right.
Or the Fort Lauderdale Strikers with Ronaldo coming out of retirement.
He started his training regimen.
I just saw that. Yeah, he started his training today. He's ready.
He lost like 60 pounds, didn't he?
Well, he weighed like 400. I mean, the guy wasn't exactly in shape. All right, so okay. Sorry, Ronaldo. You're the man back in the day.
Yes, I'm sure he'd put your comments personally, but everybody calls him Fat Ronaldo.
Yeah, Fat Ronaldo.
If the Open Cup can make it so Fort Lauderdale plays Orlando and Ronaldo plays against Kaká,
That'd be fantastic.
Oh.
If Rivaldo could come out of retirement and like Romario. Oh man, that'd be sweet. Roberto Carlos just busting some free kicks.
Ronaldinho, hello.
Yeah.
Here.
Man, that'd be beautiful. Make it happen.
That game plays Raul in the Cosmos.
Raul.
Yeah. Get Pele in a Cosmos shirt and do the old time penalty kick.
Pele might have to start that game.
I see you, Philip, bringing up that penalty kick again. I see you.
Yeah.
That's why Philip's here. He has to
every week. It's got to be squeezed in a little bit.
We're not stopping until it comes back.
I should have put on my Cosmos kit then.
Oh, please don't.
We're not stopping until the shootout comes back. If the Open Cup has to use it to break ties, forget penalty kicks. Bring back the shootout. Bring it back. And make only defenders take it.
What else do you have on the back of the blue posted?
I think the blue posted is about done. We're about an hour in, so we're wrapping this thing up. Time flies when you're having fun.
I know.
It's amazing how fun we are. We managed to not talk about the MLS account tweeting emojis.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's a bummer.
We managed to...
Ban whoever is the Twitter personality for MLS. Can we just not allow them to tweet?
No MLS celebrity weddings this week, I don't think. Servando and Dwyer got married. I don't think anybody got married this week. So no more TMZ.
The prior week, right? So.
Yeah. So Tyler's got to get back to The Bachelor.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap this up and The Voice is on. I know you guys have been DVRing it, so you don't miss our show.
No, I
don't. Back to The Voice.
Is that like the knockoff of American Idol or something?
It's better now.
Yeah, duh. Christina Aguilera's on it.
You guys judge me for The Bachelor, but then talk about The Voice. Wow.
Yeah, I got Better Call Saul coming up. That's what I watch.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's on tonight. I forgot about that.
I'll probably just go play FIFA.
Yeah, if anybody wants to play FIFA on Xbox 360, I'm in. But...
I still go old school PS3, so
yeah.
I'm on the non-DP salary.
Me too.
You got it at a garage sale.
We're like the Rapids. We have no DPs at Total-MLS.
Yeah, we got 2 DPs, man.
We do?
Yeah, we just got a second one. Ramirez,
No,
talk about him because I don't care, but I get it. It's cool.
Oh, yeah. The Rapids got some DPs.
Can we talk about the picture that the Rapids tweeted when they signed that guy?
Which one?
They basically just used, like, Helvetica.
Flip art in the back. Welcome. I can't be held responsible. The person that they had doing Twitter last year, and then moved to Houston. Now she does the Houston.
This beautiful welcome Rapids with like.
Yeah,
some... Houston is a much cooler place, if we're being honest.
Yeah, Tamra used to run the Twitter handle for the Rapids, and she moved to Houston this year, and now we have
Now
somebody.
she's in a better place.
Complete
Someone's got some really good paint skills.
Yeah, it's pretty slick.
It's not as awesome as the Thierry Henry Photoshop from last season, with his face melting.
Well, it's not when he's touching the pole or whatever.
I can't remember what that was from.
I
That was
don't remember
beautiful. I'm gonna have to find that and tweet it. It was beautiful.
Face, Thierry Henry. Somebody
All right.
Google that.
So we're wrapping this up. Tyler, any famous last words that you have for the show? Anything you learned tonight?
That Montreal is 15, so that's good.
Montreal does still exist as a franchise.
I'm glad they're in CONCACAF Champions League, as if I give a crap about that. No, I don't know. What did I learn tonight? That you guys all hate The Bachelor but love The Voice.
Yep.
I never said that.
I don't look
yeah,
at
me
one,
neither.
so don't quote me on that.
All right.
Alright.
So only
There
some
you go.
Voice, and some of you don't.
Philip,
For some reason,
Philip, did
Page,
you learn anything tonight?
Jesus Christ.
With that,
Did you learn anything tonight?
I don't think this show really has anything to do with learning, but I learned how. I guess I learned how to pronounce the word Alajuelense. That's my big takeaway from it.
Right.
It is.
Wow.
Mike, do you have anything?
That no one on this panel believes in DC, and it warms my heart.
There you go. Austin, did you learn anything tonight?
Not really. I was disappointed
There
we
you
didn't
go.
talk about mascots again, but
Again, about who?
mascots.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
Mascot Talk.
jeez.
Mascot Talk didn't make it into this week's show. We apologize. Mark, did you learn anything? Anything else Seattle invented while we were on the air?
I learned that gingers can't tan.
Well played, sir.
I think I
I'm
need
gonna
to add.
cry my pie now.
I don't know if I can really add anything to that, honestly. So I'm just going to wrap the show up with that. Thanks for listening. Next week, if the season is starting, we're going to have 2 roundtables because we couldn't get enough of just one. The Western Conference preview show and the Eastern Conference preview show. Last year, they were so much a hit. Our predictions were so terrible. There was one guy who was talking about Houston winning the Supporter Shield. That guy's since been...
I feel like that's Dustin, but
What? Well, I don't even know. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. We'll have some more info about that, where our predictions will be spot on every team to make the playoffs. So, until next week, talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See ya.